Well, right now it is my humble honor and pleasure to introduce to you our two special guests for today. First, the creator of Tetris, Alexey Pajitnov, and the man who discovered Tetris and managing director of the Tetris company, Hank Rogers. Gentlemen.
Hey.
Gentlemen. So Alexey, can you talk a little bit about your life before Tetris?
Wow, that was 25 years ago, and I was just a researcher in Academy of Science of Russia, of USSR. And I did work on some artificial intelligence problem like automatic speech recognition and CAD-CAM system, but my heart was in puzzles, in all kind of mathematical riddles and diversions. And once I get my first desktop in my computer center, I start to put this stuff on this computer, all this mathematical stuff, and Tetris was just one of them.
So what was the inspiration behind Tetris?
It was a small puzzle called pentomino. It was a 12 different shape made out of 5 squares. It called pentominos, and it looks like jigsaw puzzle. You put them together, and it takes a lot of time to put it back to the box. And I tried to come up with some kind of 2-player game with this puzzle. And when I put the programs for it, the pieces move so amazing that I decided it should be a real-time game. That's how I came up with Tetris.
So now, where did the name Tetris come from?
Those pieces which you see on the screen, made out of 4 squares, different shape. Those pieces called tetramina. Tetra means 4 in Greece. So Tetris comes from these tetraminas.
Excellent. So Hank, you discovered Tetris at a CES.
Consumer Electronics Show in 1988, Las Vegas. And I've been chasing Tetris ever since. I found it at a booth kind of like this. It was Spectrum Holobyte's booth. And I played it, and I went away, and I came back, played it again, and I played it again, and I found I was hooked. And so I went after the rights, and I was a publisher in Japan at the time.
So you traveled to Russia, and and this is a time when few Americans had seen the inside of the Soviet Union.
So a year later, Nintendo was getting ready to do Game Boy, and I thought Tetris is the perfect game for Game Boy. So I went to Redmond and talked to Mr. Arakawa at Nintendo, and I said, I think I have the perfect pack-in game for Game Boy. And he said, well, how do you know? I said, well, what are you thinking of packing in? He said, well, we could pack in Mario. I said, well, if you want to sell Game Boy to little boys, then pack in Mario. But if you want to sell Game Boy to everyone, pack in Tetris. And he said, okay, go for it. And so basically that gave me the energy to get on a plane. I went to Moscow and tracked down the Ministry of Software, Elektronorg Technica. They really do sound like the bad guys in the James Bond movie. And that's where I met Alexey the first time.
So you guys hit it off right away.
Oh yeah, we're the only ones in the room that are not KGB or commies. We're game designers. So it's like, take 2 of these people and put them in Pyongyang today, and that's kind of what it's like. We have something to talk about, and nobody else does.
Now, can you talk a little bit about the negotiation process with the Soviet officials to get Tetris?
It was the weirdest negotiation I'd ever been in, because these people didn't understand intellectual property. They didn't understand money. They were looking for $1 billion, and they were like off by a factor of 1,000 on how much money I was going to be able to pay them. I explained the business, and I said I would give them their fair share, and that's what did it in the end.
Excellent. So now, up until the dismantling of the Soviet Union, Alexey, you did not profit from Tetris at all.
Oh yes, that time all this question of of intellectual property was very unclear in Russia. So what I did, I grant my rights for Tetris to my institute for 10 years in order for them to help me publish it. And they did. So the game was published, hopefully.
So it was in 1995 when the rights came back to you?
Yeah, it naturally comes back to me in 95.
But nothing's that easy.
Yeah, it was some trouble, but finally I'm fine.
Excellent. Well, at this point, I would like to bring up Adam Sussman, the Vice President of Worldwide Publishing for EA Mobile.
Hey, dude. Hey, all right.
How are you? Good to see you. So recent counts put the number of Tetris downloads at over 75 million. Why do you think it's been so successful on mobile and now the iPhone?
Yeah, I mean, Tetris is the best-selling mobile game of all time. And I think one of the reasons for that is one of those games that appeals to both men and women alike, people of all ages, and it's truly a global property. It's a game that's easy to pick up and play, but difficult to master, and mobile is one of the best platforms to experience the game.
Gotcha. So let's just go down the line here. Adam, what is your favorite version of Tetris?
I would have to say classic Tetris. Marathon mode is my favorite version of Tetris because you can never beat it.
2 minute. I like the rush of being able to accomplish something within 2 minutes. So I call that Ultra Tetris, the 2-minute version.
How about you, sir?
Challenge, of course. I love it.
And how about which is the favorite platform which you've seen Tetris on so far?
I actually like it on a classic feature phone, like a Brew phone.
Okay.
I like the virtual D-pad of a mobile phone feature phone provides, and find it to be the best way to play Tetris for me.
I'm a little biased in this area because we did 75 million downloads. So I got to say mobile phone.
I'm more conservative person. I still admire original Game Boy version. I like it. It's very close to my own.
I have to confess, my favorite is the Tengen version for the NES. Boo. So the last 25 years of Tetris have been, as we've seen, quite eventful. What do you see happening with Tetris in the next 25 years?
Well, since our partnership began in 2006, Tetris has continued to grow year over year. And one of the things we recognize about Tetris is every time there's a new platform that comes out, Tetris is the first game that people want to buy. They know it, they know how to play it, and it's the perfect game for portable devices like mobile. So I think that we're going to see Tetris to continue to grow as new platforms come out.
The National Tetris League. We're going to have professional Tetris players. We're going to have a Tetris Cup that's sponsored by Coca-Cola and McDonald's if they're still around. And we are going to be professional players.
So far, Tetris is in a Guinness record book as the most portable game in the world. So I hope that in the next 25 years, the new platform will coming, and Tetris will be right there.
So what is the magic behind Tetris? Why has it lasted this long?
Well, it's a simple game. Everybody knows it. We put a really strong brand behind it, and this is also very important. But the most important, this is the game with the very strong creative spirit. So when you play the game, you have a feeling that you construct, you do something, you create something rather than destroy. And this is very important for human nature.
Gotcha.